Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cult Catch Up, our new shorter format podcast. I'm Henry, and joining me, as usual, is Andy. So
Hello.
This is it. This is the public one. This isn't the testers.
Is it?
This isn't the Patreon specials that they've been subjected to of the last few weeks of us.
Five testers.
Stumbling our way through technology.
Five pilots.
5 pilots, yeah. Oh, and I had the all by myself one. That went all right after I ended up having like an hour-long phone call with Matt at lunch, and he fixed
It's probably easier, isn't it?
He's a legend. He's an absolute legend. But yeah, these are, well, we mentioned them in the big podcast. We're not stopping that. So the live one with all of us, with Rich and Matt as well, will be going roughly monthly with that one. Or sort of at least monthly, I should say. And then we're going to try and do this one as close to weekly as makes sense.
Yeah. As long as I'm here and you're here.
Not going to sacrifice, some of the other things for it, but I think it'll be nice to be able to react to things more. That was one of the prime reasons, wasn't it? To be able to be a bit more reactive to the news and what's coming out and sort of show you guys what we've been up to. That sounds right.
Yep. More energy, more footwork.
With that, last few weeks, what's been... So we had the Nova reveals, and obviously you were out there. I've had a look around sort of non-GW stuff. I think it's been a fairly quiet couple of weeks for most things. So I thought Stormcast's a fairly big release in the sense of it's... would you say it's still the flagship range for AOS? Do you think they're still sort of pushing that?
I think they want it to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it is.
But Fantasy never had it, right? Like even old Warhammer Fantasy, there wasn't really... I'd argue that Chaos were the like Space Marines of Fantasy.
Because they're your favourite.
No, but they're easy to paint or simpler to paint.
You mean
big
easy,
lads in armour? Like
that's true.
You don't need too many models, and they fight everybody. Whereas, because if you I'm thinking back, all the boxes, there was never really a consistent protagonist, was there? Because you had High Elves, you had Empire, Orcs were often the baddie, but then Skaven crept in there.
Yeah, it wasn't like the dominant Marine presence, was it?
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, presumably that's what the idea with Stormcast is, but I don't think they need to be almost, do they?
No.
In my opinion, anyway. But yeah, so we've got their latest batch of minis revealed for coming up, presumably later this year. I gave up reading the roadmaps. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
I didn't see the roadmaps, but I heard...
Didn't miss much.
I heard that they were like, new stuff's coming, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
That was about it.
Yeah. Or the flip side was, nothing new's coming till next year. Screw you.
Yeah. What's coming? Nothing. Woohoo! Okay.
It was a really odd one, man. Like it yeah.
And were they pre-recorded videos again?
So they basically you got a community page where you had some details. You had an image of the roadmap, and honestly, the roadmaps weren't worth the paper they were written on, as it were. And then there was like a short interview with someone from that design team, basically just echoing whatever was written in the article. Like the ones I'm more interested in, like the Heresy one is hilarious. Like, it's just absolutely. They're like, "What's coming? Tanks."
Yeah,
that's it. Like at some point. So you're like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, I'm happy. Like,
well, I was there, and it was the first time where I've learned from the past, and I thought, this time would be different. But this time, I resisted going to the reveal, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't, because there was.
Did they actually have it as a reveal thing? You could go and sit and.
Yeah. You had to queue, get tickets. Really hard to get in.
Bizarre.
And I thought.
Bizarre.
I remember I remember rushing for the Adepticon one, like really like running, because I came off the flight and I was like rushing, and I thought I really want to see, and then they just pressed play on a video, and that was me done. I was like, I haven't flown this way.
It's just lame, isn't it? It's just like especially because it felt like the guys were starting to find their feet a bit presenting them as well.
I love the reveal shows. I used to
seems
love
silly,
them.
Right? And I know people are like, oh, just look at it on Warhammer Community and you'll get better pictures. Yeah, of course you will. But it's not about that, is it? It's the fun of being in the room with other people, hearing other people's reactions.
Do you remember the Weekenders?
I was going to say that, that's
when they dropped a Primarch
gold
picture,
standard.
You used to lose your mind of just a whip of Simon Egan. We used to be like, yes! It was I miss that excitement.
Right.
And
Well, it's not expensive.
they're getting
not
they're
hard to
getting
do.
slick and more pro, right? But I missed it. I like it a bit rustic,
I
a
think
bit like
you
the
can.
Nova Awards, which I'll talk about later.
Well, but the thing is, I think you can be slick and pro and still like human and engaging
That's the thing. Yeah.
and fun. We are all nerds, and there's nothing wrong with like what's his name, Adam, King of the Nerds, just up there. Like I've never seen a face of Warhammer who's more genuinely, clearly excited about
I want a
everything
hype
to do with
man.
Warhammer, right? Yeah, and he's I've got a lot of time for him. I've always enjoyed his presenting and stuff, but yeah, for whatever reason, we got the pages and the roadmaps, but the actual miniatures reveals we got were some Blood Bowl ones, which I wasn't hugely impressed with, which is why I haven't bothered doing any slides for them. And yeah, the big Stormcast release. So this is the sort of follow up to their half of the launch box, and I've picked a couple of images of the headline miniature, I guess, which is no idea. It's called a Morgriff, isn't it? It's a knight something probably on Morgriff. So we've got a special character, and then you've also got the sort of generic. I'll say, is it a Lord Veritant? Maybe
I like this one a lot more.
What do you like more about it?
I like the bird without the hat. Yeah, that's about it.
Come on, we got to get in the habit. So we need to describe what we're seeing. We need to go catchphrase with this. Say what you see. If we're going to go audio, so this
we're going audio.
Well, if we're going to release them as audios, we've got to actually describe the pictures, right? So this is the great big griffin, the generic one, as it were. So you've got a
non-special character,
and you've got a kind of brown and tan and cream, kind of bald eagle vibes coloring, kind of classic coloring, actually, isn't it? As it fades to that lovely sort of beige at the back. So there's not an angle on these images that I've got, but they show the tail, and that's bugging me a lot, right? Because this griffin from the front, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, you recognize what that is. And then it's got like a crow's tail rather than a lion's tail or a big cat's tail. Not a fan. And maybe this one doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen this one's bum, so I'm not sure. I like both, man. I really do. Like, I think the only thing I struggled with a little bit when we saw them initially was the head, particularly of the one with the Kez hat on. Kind of doesn't look like a Warhammer model. I think.
Love it. I absolutely love that. The head's the best bit for me.
But it just looks really good. It doesn't look stylized. It doesn't look anything really, right? It's just
really like it.
Good paint jobs on both as well, I thought.
I was disappointed when I first saw them because of the wings and how small they are into that they're just little chunky bits like folded in or whatever. But after I let it percolate, which everyone should with new releases, I realized I could probably do some really cool conversion with a load of other kits, like a big elaborate one. I thought, yeah, that's cool. I love the head on the regular one without the hood. As you said, it just looks like a classic, very well sculpted fantasy griffin. And I want to do some stuff. Maybe use the wings from the
Vedra.
Yeah,
Talia Vedra. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying about having them the wings. Like the wings are fairly tucked in, so it's got a very aggressive, like stalking pose, hasn't it? Which I quite like. Like generally, when you see griffins, it's like the rearing up, isn't it? So the wings out and rearing up at the front. I quite like the way this is sort of stepping down and prowling, and it's just a different look, isn't it?
I want it in the hand. The side view I liked a lot. The head's fantastic. I think I'd like to convert it to be not a Stormcast thing. Do Empire or Wood Elf or anything. But just do a real classic fantasy griffin. Maybe you can make it old world and put what's your blind high elf guy called?
Oh, Eltharion. Yeah. Was it Stormwing? Is that his griffin?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Something like that. I was like, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Now, something perhaps we do need to start doing when we're seeing these new big kits is giving them a sort of, out of, say, 10, how likely is Rich Grey to paint head of it.
Well, that's always a 10. He's going to paint
You think
the face.
this one?
Yeah, I think we should just give it a rating out of 10 in general. When people
you want to do right? All right. So
I just think every mini
fine.
when people post in WhatsApp, I don't say any words.
Okay.
I just give it a number. I go 5.
All right. So special character, dark and moody, Griffin with a hat on. What are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. And normal Griffin, prowling, looking up, having his best day.
7.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely fair. And with a caveat for me of absolutely likely to go up once I see the model in the hand. They could each creep up a point for me.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, the whole rest of the releases for them generally I felt were a 7. Like that they would we said it, didn't we? Like they're fine. They're good. If you like Stormcast, then they're good. I don't think you pointed with any of them.
I think I just I wanted to be blown away by this kit, to be honest.
I think this is the problem. Like AOS have kind of been raising the bar a lot, haven't they, the last, say, 4 years? And we spoke before about how much we like the update to Stormcast and how they feel like the good version of Chaos Warriors and Paladins and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I know what you mean. Where's the, like, I still think, what's her name with the wings? The hunter. I can't remember what her name is now.
Strike? Something?
No, that was the lad on Goat, wasn't it? That was the lad
I like that
on
more,
Goat thing. He's gone. I can't remember her name. Anyway, the last big box, the special character from that you did the conversion of.
The wings.
Coming down, yeah. Like that to me is still a bit more of a exciting centerpiece, if you know what I mean.
I like this more.
It's I don't know what it was. Like, do you have anything in mind that you were sort of expecting to be blown away by? Or is it just this was it, it's just not quite?
Well, that model I just said, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, Aventus Firestrike. The guy that was
Aventus
on the weird kind of goat griffin type thing.
I like the posing of that with the asymmetrical wings and how, like, you know, the wings were fantastic, the posing, and I liked the character on top. If you haven't seen Lucas Pina's version of it, then you should, because it is amazing. And yeah, maybe I just expected a more classic kind of posing. I just find these wings a little chunky and compact. They look like, and I think the armor plates on the corners add to that small, chunky look. And I think I'd like them, just kind of spread out. But I don't know. I do like it. I also think it'd be very nice to game with because it fits in the oval base. So
yeah,
it'd be nicer
absolutely.
in your case. But the head sculpt of the creature is fantastic. I would say the head, I'd give that a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to argue with that. They're both super cool. Yeah, keen. So again, you know, AOS not letting anyone down, miniatures wise. Again, I think if you're a Stormcast fan, you're probably very, very, very happy.
I can't wait to get it. So, like, maybe saying 6 out of 10 seems harsh, but I'm really excited to get it.
You can only go on the photos, right? And also, if you give everything like 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10, there's nowhere to go, is there? So
yeah, like, I'd probably only give 3 or 4 kits a 10 in the entire range. So if you want to know, how I rate
another
stuff,
time.
You know.
Yeah. All right. Cool. But yeah, nothing else particularly caught your eye from that release? I mean, I've got slides for them, so ideally don't say yes.
No. I'm looking forward to receiving the Sanguinor as well and the Blood Angels Captain. I would like to purchase those items. I'm looking forward to those, as we haven't spoken about them since I've been on.
Since you've been on, no, of course. The Blood Angels reveals came out, didn't they? Yeah. So and presumably not too far away because we've had their army box, which has just come out. So I hope normally it's not too long, is it, between those launch boxes and then the rest of the range? So fingers crossed. Cool. Okay, so moving on. Not such wonderful news, if I'm honest. I wanted to bring this up just because if you were a big fan of White Dwarf and stuff back in the mid to late
You're our
90s, you know, yeah, right,
Or more.
mid to late 90s. Or if you've been into Warlord games, so Bolt Action, probably the most famous game they produce. One of the founders of that and the old editor of White Dwarf, Paul Sawyer, has been very, very poorly. So if you want to know a little bit more about what's going on with all that, then you can go and visit the Warlord Games Facebook page or whatever their social media, and they'll fill you in on more details. But yeah, he massive figure for me in like hobby growing up. Like his
Beastman army,
like the beast. I was going to say the Black Beastman army, and then the White Scars land speeder, where the heavy bolter guys, you know, stood on there. Just one of many. And I mean, pretty legendary to have was it a breakfast named after him in Bugman's Bar, or was it a burger? Can't remember. The fat bloke, whatever it was called, was just an obscene bit of dinner. But yeah, so very sad to hear about that. But yeah, go and check it out.
Too.
Go and check the news out, and support them if you want to in any way you can. Right, let's move on to what we've been up to. So yeah, what we've been up to. Well, you've been traveling again, this time to Nova Open, which is in Washington,
DC, which is a different place to Washington, because I didn't know that my last trip was also Washington, but state.
There we go. And that was for I can't even remember
Tacoma,
what that one was. Tacoma,
the Tacoma Open.
That was it.
Was Washington State.
So yeah, so Nova Open, been around a long time. Started out, and I believe it still is a charity event, effectively. It's just grown from being like a couple of 40k events to this enormous kind of convention now, right?
Yeah, I don't know too much of the background of that, but they had a few mantras like art first, hobby first, and stuff like that. So they were very, very pro the painting hobby side of it. Whereas events like LVO, although I've had a very good time at, that's a tournament, and they'll let you in a tiny room teach a painting class if you want, but it's a tournament. Whereas this was much more hobby focused, had lots of gaming events and the Capital Palette, which we'll talk about, and a lot of hobby seminars. So yeah, a fantastic all-rounder event, I would say. Really, really cool.
Nice one. And you were there, as I say, to teach some classes. Quite a few, right? 4 or 5 days of classes. Cracking.
6 days of classes.
6 days of classes. There we go. So we had we had NMM, we had brush skills, and we had a little masterclass, right?
Yeah, did 2-day masterclass to start with, which is the pre-con class. So that was kind of funny because there was no one else there. Paid the Woodsman, got my plan for the workshop, and unintentionally pretty much finished the mini.
Nice.
Apart from the non-metallics, but I did a non-metallics class, so could finish it on that. Yeah, they were great. It was a miniature mostly made of skin, and yeah, I think they conquered it. But I focused on them not getting too bogged into the details, and it was just making the mini look good from afar, and just I focused on stuff I think people struggle with, painting skin really, really softly, trying not to over highlight everything. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I think they liked it too. So it was a bit more conceptual rather than precise, do this, do that. I was just, trying to get them to paint as if you're 2 feet away.
Nice. And the usual sort of American style attendees, like lots of questions, really positive, quite noisy.
Yeah, really good group. Yeah, I loved the masterclass, and I enjoy it because when you get 2 days, you get to know people, and they get to know you as well, and adjust to your teaching style. Because walking around, I do think mine's kind of different. I feel a bit old school because everyone had presentations on the screen like this, pointing, and I was like, "Get rid of the screen, sit next to me, and we'll talk together." I don't really like
done it, right? That's what you get on the classes.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I tried the screen and I was like, turn it off, which is possible with a small class. And yeah, I'm a bit old school, as you know. I like keeping it analog. I'd like to be able to teach a class as if there was no TV and screens there. That's kind of the way I like to do it. But yeah, it was great. Not done 6 workshops straight before. I think I've done 5 days straight. So yeah, one up with the 6. But I enjoyed them all. Yeah, a few people did repeated and did a lot of the classes, but then new people in each one. So yeah, it was great, and I'll definitely go again to teach. Um, and yeah, I just learnt heaps, I think. But also, you get in the flow of teaching. You know, sometimes you do one day, you're a bit rusty the first couple hours, then it's over. But yeah, it was quite chill getting into it.
Nice one. That's good to see. So we got I don't know if it was before you went away or just when you went away. We got the latest batch of tickets up for the UK classes. They sold out at the minute, so if you want to get on them, pop on the waiting list. But yeah, there's you mentioning the 2 days of fun. Like got a 2-day one for the military modelling and looking forward to, because as you say, you just kind of, it's just a bit more. I mean, I think our classes are fairly relaxed anyway, but there's a nice, like, it's nice being able to plan going out for dinner or going to the pub in the evening as well, and things like that. You know, I think is you know, we always run small classes, and it's you take advantage of it, right? Try and make it enjoyable for the tutor and the attendees. Is the key with that. But there's also something I love about just a ludicrously intense, like 6-hour day, when people's brains are just melting out areas by the end of it. So you mentioned there was a painting comp on as well that you're involved with, Capital Palette. What's the skinny with that then?
What's the skinny? Yeah, so I've not been to the Capital Palette before, but I think it will become the premier US painting comp from what I've seen. Obviously, Golden Demon will always kind of dwarf any other show in terms of people talking about it.
You know, but you had Crystal Brush, didn't you? That was the big sort of,
yeah, that's
anyway,
it.
The name I was aware of anyway.
Yeah, that's it. So you had Crystal Brush before, but that had its own issues, and I think Capital Palette's really important to be, you know, something healthy for the US scene. And I don't think, from my observation, Crystal Brush was. You know, me, Rich, and Neil went to Crystal Brush, and we had our perception of what it would be like, and it was really different to what we imagined. And I think that the prize money kind of had something to do with that. What you had was maybe 3 to 5 Europeans flying over with their best pieces. And this was people like Sergio Calvo, Lan, Francesco Farabi, these big names, and they were going for that big prize. And then you had a real jump down, you know, from that just 3 or 4 entries to a handful of other okay entries. It was really odd. And the total number of entrants was really low as well. And my perception, which may or not be true, was that maybe Crystal Brush was put on a pedestal because of the top winners, and maybe people were a little afraid to enter. That was what I could see anyway. Whereas the Capital Palette, you had the 3 levels, you know, the beginner, standard, and the master, which they call journeyman, which I think as Brits, we never really understood that turn of phrase, but that's the standard, and then the master. And this seemed much healthier, really great looking competition, absolutely rammed. You can see from the slide. This is the master large scale and bust category, and barely any Games Workshop models, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I just think this is really important for each kind of country, region, to have stuff that promotes painting, the hobby. And yeah, I think that Capital Palette was really great to see. Very few Games Workshop models. I think that's always nice to see. And as you went through the levels, you know, in the novice category, there was a lot more, obviously, because people are getting into it via GW, which is cool. But yeah, seeing the sheer volume of people trying busts and trying to do really creative things was fantastic. And so I hope that it gets the promotion it deserves. And you know, I'm always very pro Golden Demon. I love Golden Demon, but this show, if you're in the US, I think you should put the effort into doing, because yeah, you've got the different levels, so no matter where you're at, there's a point for you to enter and get involved. And yeah, I just love seeing more creative pieces and more variety, which you can see in these pictures. You know, you've got a GW skeleton in a diorama, which is really cool. Then you've also got a massive Alice in Wonderland thing.
That's
The
got big
Hobbit.
big Trent vibes, that one.
That's
Like,
Chris Surrey, which, if you aren't aware, he always does enormous dioramas like this.
nice.
It's his thing. You can kind of tell it's him straight away from the backdrop style and the colors and stuff like that. But yeah, he does enormous dioramas, a bit like Trent does. Yeah, so it was just great. So I helped with the judging of that. I did the journeyman tier, did the single miniatures and the large miniatures, which are the biggest categories. Think single mini in the middle level was the most popular category, 170 or something like that. And I did that with Steve Garcia, and we finished a bit earlier than the others. Think of that as you will. We got it done, me and Steve, and helped out with some of the other categories and stuff like that, which was cool. So yeah, it was really nice. I love judging, really enjoy it, and tried my best to make it cool, I think. So,
Nice. No, it's great to hear, mate. Not going to be many comps you haven't judged to this, right? Eh?
So we're getting there. We're getting there. So we've got once we've done Monty and SMC. I don't think I do much judging next year.
We'll accept, obviously, for
our own
video. Yeah,
so it's a lot of energy judging.
Talk a bit
very
more
very hard
about that later on, I think. But no, it sounds great, mate. It sounds like you had a cracking time. So, what we wanted to talk about on these regular podcasts as well is just kind of what we've been doing on Patreon and YouTube. Because, as well, you explain this better than me. Go on. What's the idea behind it?
Well, we have videos every week on YouTube and Patreon, and we felt like there isn't the we don't shed a light on the Patreon videos too much. Do maybe a picture on Instagram. And also, we obviously edit our videos, and they're quite concise. And yeah, there's always little extras that we'd love to talk about. Just have a conversation, really. So it's kind of like, if you really like the videos, it's almost behind the scenes. And we might there might be a bit where we're like, paint this color on this bit, and that's it. Yeah. Then really, what happened was it absolutely sucked. We had a terrible time, and this is our chance to talk about that. So if you're if you're a fan of the channel and you want to know extra little bits, then this is our chance where we might give a little bit more about the behind the scenes process. And I've been away, so
that's great idea. I was going to say it, so I'm kind of thrown in here. So this is what so whilst Andy's been gallivanting around the world, I've been doing YouTube and Patreon the last couple of weeks and having a ton of fun. It's always fun painting Marines. I mean, I think anyway, for me, I always enjoy painting Marines. It's never a bad day with the brush. I'm just painting a Space Marine and thinking about, Space Marines. So I'm happy. So, and with the Blood Angels release, kind of felt obvious to do some Blood Angels stuff for YouTube. But I don't really know what to say. I mean, yeah, like you said, that we work to such tight deadlines that basically you fire the video out and then you're on to the next thing. And it's quite nice if there's a few days afterwards. You do sometimes think of things like, I wish I'd put that in, or or that was a disaster, or I was really pleased with this week, kind of thing. So I don't really know what to talk about with them.
Well, I'll ask you some questions, because that yellow boy looks amazing.
So the Spirers for Necromunda. So I've done 6 or 7 Necromunda videos, I think, over on Patreon. We've done a little playlist for them now. I'm loving the Necromunda. It's a game I love. It's a setting I love. It's that kind of behind the scenes 40k. It's that gritty kind of street level 40k and that stuff. And the Spirers came out fairly recently. I always wanted to do them as a kid, but my mate did them, so I did the rat skins. So when this lot came out, I was like, I'm doing them. And as very often happens, I suspect with a lot of people, I was like, I'll knock this gang out in a week. It'd be fine. That didn't happen at all. Partly because they're flipping weird miniatures, particularly the Horus, the big suit in the middle. The shapes on them are just bizarre, and it just took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do. And in the end, I think the yellow one probably presents it best. I really want to try and do my Spire as the gang of four. You know, they're these spoiled brats. Basically, they're not brats. That was a different thing in Necromunda a long time ago. But they're the high echelon lords and ladies. They put these big hunting suits on that are of Xenos origin, and then they go and hunt things to like prove how good they are.
I didn't know that.
So these suits, like there's all this like, is it Tau? And now obviously you have like Leagues of Votan. There's like, is it bits to do with that? But they're such weird suits that they have to break their bodies, like reknit their bone, like lengthen bones out and things like that to fit into these suits. And they kind of pick their own. And I wanted to, whilst I think the box art scheme's kind of cool that they've done for them, that weird metallic green. I wanted something a bit more colourful, a bit more old fashioned. And I just kind of like the idea that it's a bunch of like boy racers, like they're just a little bit, just decorating their suits like they're their naff little hot hatches. So yeah, that's what I went with. And actually, I think I've uploaded the wrong picture here because half of them are out of focus. But anyway,
I can see them very well.
I've gone for white and sort of a bluey white on the Horus, and then really like the yellow I've managed to do on the Yeld, the one with the wings.
What yellow did you use? The main one?
It's Imperial Fists contrast paint.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm a big fan of the contrast paint yellows. I think they're all fab. I think there's 5 of them, and they're all quite different. And I like using the airbrush a lot. So yeah, like if I'm airbrushing yellow, they're like my first port of call. Also, one that's not a contrast paint. I can't think what it is. It's a GW yellow.
Not Hobgras or something.
I love it, but not for this. No, it's a nice bright yellow. But I only used it very, very recently. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like the days when yellow used to be like a pain to paint are long gone. But yeah, so the Patreon video ended up, the nice thing with the Patreon video is I haven't got to complete them in one video. So, this was a nearly 40-minute video just to get these 2 miniatures to this stage. And it was just really nice being able to talk about it more at length. And also little things like, say, the chipping. It's one of the favorite things for me for painting.
Yeah, it's the best.
When you see it in like the videos, it's okay, now we're going to do a little bit of tippy tap chipping on this bit here and then on to the next bit. Whereas in real life, that's like an hour or two, just, sat there laboriously, going around or meticulously, not laboriously, meticulously going around and doing it. So yeah, it was, I'm really enjoying it. And I've got a campaign weekend in November that I'm playing in, but these have to be done by. So there will be sort of updates between now and then as I finish the gang. I'm also really hoping that we get a resin like leader miniature. So basically, that one of the new things they've got is your equivalent of a gang leader, your hunt master, can mix and match the suits.
No way.
But I'm not mad on how that looks. There's a special character called Lady Helmore, who's like one of the top dogs. I don't know if you saw that resin mini that was shown off a month or 2 ago. She's kind of cool. So maybe if she comes out, I'll use her or something instead. But yeah, I don't know. I just want my Huntmaster to look different. I don't just want them to look like a hodgepodge of
bits. Shadow Sun. That's a good base.
Yeah, right. But that is a really good shout. But yeah, they're lovely models. Absolutely bizarre to put together. Just weird, but lots of fun. And yeah, the yellow did come out really nice actually. So, but you haven't watched that video yet, have you?
Couldn't log in.
You're gonna hate.
You're
gonna hate it. I won't tell you why, but you're gonna hate it.
What?
So yeah.
Why am I gonna hate it?
So yeah, that was Necromunda. And as I say, we've been the last.
Oh,
few
you did
weeks,
it pink underneath.
We've been trying. We have to watch the video, won't we? And we've been trying out the podcast as well over on there, trying it out. Yeah. So that was Patreon. I was to dip my toes in now and again.
Exactly.
So I never quite know when recording it to like record it as a Patreon video or whether to record it straight so that then it can be used in the future on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just a tricky one, isn't it?
What did I paint last?
Yeah.
Black Templar. Yeah.
Which I think I featured when I did the solo podcast last week for the patrons. We talked about it. So that was really cool. I'm looking
That was
forward to
great.
getting hold of him, and looking forward to finishing that project out. So there's a dreadnought sat off camera waiting to go when we get a gap in the schedule.
Yeah.
And there is an Emperor's Champion, as someone reminded me. We can't do that can't do a Black Templars project without an Emperor's Champion. So that'll be a good fun. And then I think that's probably stick a pin in it and probably do one of those subscriber giveaway things. I think get it out on the battlefield and people enjoying it, right? And that's what they're for. And then on to the next Marine project. I don't know. But we sort of mentioned that in the pilot show where it did lose steam, the Black Templars project, but I'm very optimistic now with you on full time now that collab projects I think could be quite fun. I think we'll be able to maintain like momentum with them and actually collab on stuff like much easier. So we've already got a couple of ideas right for that sort of towards the end of the year. So I think that's going to be good fun. And then Marines, Blood Angels, love it.
I want to paint Lamartez, but I'd paint him exactly the same as I did the Black Templar, so it won't be a very good video.
But that's it. So you're exactly right. You know, we've got videos on Black Armor umpteen different ways. So I was like, Lamartez is a cool model. What can I do to paint him that's fun for a video that we haven't shown? And I just kind of went for this super stylized, very, very simple kind of Angels of Death cartoon.
Well, it looks proper black because it's glossed, right? So it's way darker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a satin, but actually it's, as with all varnishes, they're way glossier than they say they are.
Yeah. I used the matte. And it's satin.
Yeah, exactly. But it was right. Again, I did a whole bunch of testers for it to try and figure out how to make it sort of look how I wanted. Sometimes it's just simple, right? Like spray it black and bang a satin varnish over it, and it came out
on the table.
Came out lovely. The other reason I'd been put off by doing that was it doesn't film or photograph well, like high gloss stuff. So I struggle enough when I'm filming, like getting things too reflective. So, but no, it was a ton of fun. It's been really nice reactions to it, and I do hope people give it a go. I do think that Death Company box is cool. Like I think it was an interesting way for them to do the launch box.
Rather than it just being not interesting.
No, I think it was interesting from point of view of more interesting if it had just been a generic Blood Angels army set. Because ultimately
it's not.
you can buy that army box and just not paint it black, and it's not Death Company. You know, ultimately it's just a
that's my frustration.
Oh, well, they haven't done a proper Death Company kit.
Yeah, I just bought the old Death Company kit. I just got a box in the post, which is fabulous because you get 5 jump packs with it as well. So I can do some proper old jump packs, good ones. But I've got some Death Company plans, but it will be one Death Company. But I want to do a big Mark 7 Death Company proper because that's my love, and I really loved. Just changing the helmet on that Black Templar just changed everything for me. Just like, oh yeah, it's a Space Marine again.
Absolutely. So when that what you call it? What's their squad called? Crusader Squad. Like putting that together with the 7 helmets was just like, oh, there we go. Right.
Yep.
It's very, very close. And then this week just gone did the Flesh Terror, which I was really happy with actually. So it's just nice to do like a kind of classic army painting video. You know, I always try with those to be like not too many paints, simple processes, easy to repeat, but also not treating army painting like a dirty word that just means sloppy, mass-produced kind of thing. And I think it came out great. And Flesh Terrors for me, like the red is kind of key. And I think
that's it with army painting is getting the exact tone.
It's what matters, right? It's the armor color that matters. Everything else is superfluous. You know, there was a lot of simplified parts to the paint job, but I don't think it matters.
Doesn't matter. Get the color right.
Yeah. Exactly. Was really, really happy with that one. There's been some nice reaction to that as well. And I'm trying to think, what am I working? Mechanicum for our next video. So I don't quite know when this podcast's going out, but yeah, I'm going to do a big Mechanicum video. They obviously had their release fairly recently. Few people got a bit salty about why haven't we produced a free video for them to do in Mechanicum. But we have. It's just taking a while, and that's largely because we don't ever feel really obligated to rush stuff for release. Like we're not that channel, so I'd rather make sure what we put out is worthwhile or entertaining or whatever you want to call it, enjoyable. But I'm pumped about it, mate. The world we live in: plastic solar, plastic Mechanica.
Good times.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah. And I think they did a good job of plasticizing them. On the whole, the Thalax, I don't know. I think I do still prefer the old resin Thalax, but I certainly like the new plastic ones, and I know which I'd rather build. So I
love the Thanatar. I'm really sad I didn't get one, but whatever.
Well, presumably we'll get the Thanatar Calyx. Is it the one with the big Magna blast cannon thing as well at some point? So yeah, but I haven't seen too many Mechanicum things actually. I saw Rich, obviously, we mentioned it on the big podcast.
I love Rich's scheme.
Rich had done that lovely Death Guard Castellax, which was cool. But yeah, so that's what I am working on next. So yeah, so that's it for what we've been up to. I hope you guys have enjoyed this first of our new sort of regular weekly-ish podcast we've been doing. If you want to get in touch with us, if you've got things we'd like us to cover, or accounts you'd like us to look at, the live show is going to be the one where we focus more on what the community's been up to. So the paint cultist stuff, lots of different paint jobs, and talking about them lots. So this one is more sort of reacting to local recent news. And then just sort of updating you with what we've been doing. And when we finish recording we now go and record a Patreon exclusive section to the podcast where we talk about things more in depth, but also address any questions from the patrons to do with things we've done or just general hobbying questions as well. And also the crisp rating thing. I've had a few requests about that, so we need to bring that onto the weekly pod. Completely forgotten about that one. Todd sent me these immense duck ones from Australia. I tried to save you them. It didn't go well. I ate them all.
Crisps.
Yeah, like hoisin duck pancake crisps. Outstanding.
I mean, they can't be any worse than Walker's Sensations, the worst crisps available.
Oh yeah, no. Like no, different thing. It's to do with some like posh chef as well has done this collab to do it. But anyway, we'll bring those to the things there. So yeah, anything else you wanted to add before that?
I think that's it. Next video from me on Patreon will be a wood elf. I'm painting that as soon as it's finished. That'll be on Patreon. So Patreon's videos are coming from me. Just got back and I'm straight into the painting, but I want to make sure the video is excellent. And yeah, wood elves are the best. So see you soon.
I think they are the best elves. But thanks, guys. Thanks for all the support. We will catch you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.